afternoon, good morning, welcome to your starter skills here on Crafters TV. It's lovely to have your company on this Saturday afternoon, morning, evening, maybe if you are across in Oz. It's going to be it's going to be a chilled show. It's going to be a nice way to show you, maybe if you are starting off on that journey of crafting, you want to pick up some ideas, maybe you just want to pick up exactly that, some starter skills. If you are a little bit more advanced, you're going to be able to take what we're showing you and then use that elsewhere throughout your crafting. Now, who have I got with me by my side? Well, all day today, it is the one, it's the only. Michelle's back after a really fun Play Your Crafts Right.
I loved that one.
It was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was equally. Yeah, it wasn't too hard, wasn't too easy. It was just
in the middle.
Right.
Just in the middle.
Yeah.
A lot of people felt exactly the same like myself and you. They loved it. They thought it was just nice. It was in that middle, exactly as you just said there, not too easy, not too hard. And it was a little bit of fun because for some of you, kind of like me as well, there was maybe one or two where you thought, oh, that's so-and-so, so-and-so. Yeah. And then it wasn't. And you're like, wow, what a difference by just looking at the eyes or the mouth makes can throw you off sometimes.
Yes.
Did me.
The worst or the best thing was, neither of us recognised ourselves.
No, exactly.
I don't know. You would think with it, but you would think your own face you would recognise, but I just didn't think that was me at all. Not at all.
Not at all. So when it comes to this show, as I said right at the start, it's about that starter skills. We're going to show you a variety of different things. And I say we, it is, of course, it's going to be Michelle. However, saying that, we've got Susie on the comments, so get your comments in. Maybe you do have a question or that maybe you want to have covered, following on from something Michelle's going to show you. Maybe you just want to say hello. The weather is horrendous here in the northeast, so maybe you want to just chill, relax, have a cup of tea. We've got our cups of tea here ready to go, and you're going to do a little bit of crafting while watching away. So who have we got already? We've got Alicia is saying good morning and greetings from Arkansas. We've got Babs is saying, see how I go from the Arkansas. We've got Veronica is saying good morning from everyone from California. Bab is saying hello from Pennsylvania. Margaret is saying hello everyone from Torquay and Devon. Never been to Torquay. No?
No. It is,
no.
It's somewhere I'd like to go, though,
I would as well. Yeah, many years ago, Most Haunted done a Most Haunted Live, and it was titled Terror in Torquay.
Ah.
And ever since then, I've always fancied going. So maybe one day.
Yeah.
I want to go for other reasons than that.
Not just the Most Haunted. That's with Yvette Fielding, isn't it?
It is.
They did one at a house near where I used to live in Yorkshire. You know, the one in Pontefract.
You're only telling me this now, Michelle.
You know the one in Pontefract? The like infamous one with the little girl?
Yes.
They've made a film. That's just like 10 minutes from where I used to live. We used to pass that house all the time. And it just looks like an old derelict house. And then I got older and realised what it was. Yeah.
After this show, we're talking. We're talking. Yvette Fielding, if you're watching this. Anyway, rightio, what we got? We've also got Rennie saying, it's a crisp morning in Orlando, Florida, but ever so delightful because it's not 90 degrees everywhere, anywhere longer. Maybe it's Fahrenheit, maybe. I'm not sure what one you were going for, because we're different, of course. Always like that in the UK. Ben McCarthy saying, good afternoon, everyone. Lovely to see his name popping up again, Michelle.
We've just been talking about you, Ben.
We were. Yes, we were, Ben. Yes, we were. Alicia is saying, good morning, everyone from Florida, US of A. Ben's going to be panicking now. We know your secrets. Wendy is saying, good afternoon, everyone from a very wintry northeast Vost. Maybe is that meant to be coast? Maybe most? But England, anyway. Elaine is saying, hi everyone from a dull East London. Alison saying, good morning everyone from Brooklyn, New York. Jeannie is saying hello from Pennsylvania. And we've also got Karen saying hello from Kentucky. Right, let's have a look at what we're going to be looking at first and foremost when it comes to our starter skills. We're going to be having a look at our slimline nesting dies. This one is Modena. Now this is actually 3 dies that you've got within the one set. You can absolutely use them all as a standalone collection. However, if you do want to use them individually, you absolutely can do. The front of your cards, the card blanks, whatever you like, it's entirely up to you. Very, very versatile with so much craftability when it comes to this collection. Michelle, what are you going to be showing us?
Yes. So I'm going to be using the Medina Slimline Nesting Dies. Absolutely beautiful. I love these. So again, I've got mine out. You've got those 3 beautiful dies inside. And again, each one is different with the decorative element, but again, work together beautifully. So let's pop this one through. So I have got some of my beautiful pink pearlescent cardstock here, and we're going to pop it on my junior plates. And I'm going to tape it into place, as I always do, because I don't want it to move. Now, I'm just going to trim that off the edge, because this plate is going to go through sideways because it's my smaller plates. I'm going to pop them through my bigger machine. So I'm going to pop my plate combination on, and we're going to pop it through. And the good thing about this is it takes 9 seconds as opposed to having to wait a full 18 seconds for your bigger plates to go through. I know, 9 seconds is a long time when you're crafting.
And you wouldn't necessarily think straight off the bat, Michelle, this die set, certainly the large one, would go through your smaller plates. But the fact that it does, time-wise, perfect.
It does, it goes through perfect. And you can see, so if I turn it over this way, it's cut through beautifully. So let's just take that off here. Pop that out. And if I bring in a piece of black card for you, sit that on there. Look how beautiful it is. I haven't had to tap any of my bits out. You've got that beautiful decorative element. So again, you're going to be using these, I was going to say just for mats and layers, but to create beautiful mats and layers, you can be creating apertures with these. So if I bring in the other 2 that I've already got die cut out, and all I've done with these is I've just cut it out in black matte cardstock, in my coloured cardstock, and I've just glued them together. I've dropped the black a little bit just to give myself that drop shadow. And that's all you need to do with these. So if I just bring in a piece of black card here, I'm going to pop that on there. You're going to have that down flat like this, or you're going to put a bit of foam behind it. So I think what we'll do really quickly is we'll pop this one down flat. So I'll just pop a little bit of glue on there.
For something so slimline, the detail, not only at the top and the bottom, but that curvature to the edges works perfectly. And some of them, it's either maybe 2 millimeters, if that, when it comes to the die piece?
Absolutely, absolutely. And look, just adding that bit of black drop shadow on there, just again, it makes it pop. It takes it to the next level. It gives you something totally different to if you was popping those all down flat. So if I just pop a couple of foam pads on this, and I bring this in and pop that on there, just going to layer that up, hold it down, and look how beautiful that looks. With doing nothing else than just popping those mats and layers on there with that beautiful slimline nesting die.
Going on from what Michelle's just showed you, you can then come along. Now look at our black and white forms first and foremost. That one there is just within black form onto a box lid. You can then pop them into a card front that you can see here. But then if you love to do things such as your Z-fold cards, you can absolutely do that. But that one here, bringing in your Medina die, it's the 3 die set, very versatile, the ways that you can use them singly or doubly, or just use them in all 3 ways. That one is your Medina. Right, let's have a look at some comments once again and see what you are all saying when it comes to this one. What we're going to do, in actual fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the comments, because I think it works well flowing to continue with that die set a moment ago, because what you were doing there, Michelle, is showing how singly they work well by layering together. But it's that scope of using the smaller one in with the largest one, creating one frame, but then you can do the medium with the largest one, or the smallest with the large one. So many ways.
There is. I love these. So if I bring them in again to show you, I've got my 3 sizes, and I was saying earlier how beautiful it is to pop that one inside and die cut that out. So I'll show you. So I've got one already die cut out in a different colour, in a blue. And again, so you can see that it fits on my junior plates absolutely perfectly. So I've just cut that out with the largest. I want to bring, so you could bring in either or. It's entirely up to you. In fact, let's bring in that one.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a bit more obvious for you to be able to view. So let me just tape it down. Because, as we all know, if something's got the ability to be made into a shaker card, then I'm all over it.
Yes, you love that.
I think so Debbie Robinson always says if she can do more than one thing with something, that's what we tend to look for. And for me, if I can make it into a shaker card, then that's what I tend to look for.
You can do it, yeah, go for it.
So let me just, so you can see that I've cut that beautiful, the smallest one out. Let me just bring in my poker tool.
And that's it, you know, you think, okay, 3 dies, but then if you do it that way, then that's 6. But then if you then change, you know, okay, that's a small in the medium, but small in the, it's just opens up many options.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can be putting that onto some acetate, and I can be creating a shaker element with that. I can just be bringing in one of my congrats, my little sentiments. I've got a little bow here. I can be popping. See, look, I'm not having to do much more than that. If I pop that onto the front of my card now, that is stunning.
It is.
You don't need to, and so I love the fact that you've got the smaller dies and you can create those beautiful apertures inside these, definitely.
Absolutely fab. Anything that you're seeing Michelle focusing on, of course, you can always go across on our website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com and .eu. Michelle's very kindly just had a look beforehand to make sure the key things she's using are there on our website, or you can take the ideas which she's shown you, use some of your other slimline dies if you so wish. Sandra Dundas on YouTube is saying, Craig, it's a long way from Carnoustie to Torquay. I know because I drove to Montrose, from Montrose to Bristol a few times with the kids when they were younger, and that's bad enough. Yeah, so we've got Carnoustie, then we've got Arbroath, then we've got Montrose. So I'd say Montrose is about halfway between Carnoustie and Aberdeen. That's how far up it can be. So from here to pretty much my mum's house in Carnoustie, it's bang on 4 hours non-stop. Let's say add another hour on top of that to be kind. So yeah, about 5 hours. So that is a lot. So then, and then you would have Bristol as well. So yeah, I can see it's a long drive. Just as well I love driving. To a point. Barbara is saying, good morning, everyone from Indiana. Pamela is saying, good afternoon, everyone from Cornwall. Jenny C is saying, hello from Virginia. Afternoon from West Sussex, that's Zoe. And Clark is saying, hi, Craig and Michelle. We've got Karen Evans is saying, good afternoon, everyone from South Staffordshire, UK. We've got Gilmore is saying, look at the pink against the black. Fab. Absolutely. Looks phenomenal, doesn't it? Alicia is saying, what is the base measurement of that slimline card? Very quickly, if I throw over to you, Michelle, just to double check.
So the card base is, so I've done a 9x4, and you can see that I've mat and layered down 1/4 inch with some patterned and some black, and you can see that fits on absolutely perfectly, doesn't it?
Excellent, it does, doesn't it? Spot on. And thank you so much, Mo, on YouTube. Absolutely, we will put this forward. I have a request for one of these weekend shows. Could one of you demo how to heat emboss over and over and over again? That's certainly something. I know Michelle done heat embossing earlier on. I'm sure that's something, because that's an additional technique where it's repeating it over and over so you get a different look, you know, 2 times, 3 times. Any other ideas, anything you'd like to see at the weekend, let us know. We'll feed them over to the team. Let's have a look at what we're going to be looking at right now. And this one here is our Dainty Dahlia. So this is our framed floral crater card. So with this one here, what you've then got is 2 dies. This one on its own will cut straight into your card. It doesn't matter what size the card, it's going to cut straight into it. By using this outside die, it's going to release it from your cardstock. It's a lovely big size die. It's about 5.5 by 5.5 inches. Lots of scope for creativity when it comes to this one here. So as you'll see, many ways, many styles, many uses. Michelle, what are we going to be doing?
So I have got the Dainty Dahlia Creator Card die. These are absolutely beautiful. They really are. What I love about these is not only do you have this beautiful matte and layer piece, obviously you're going to be creating mats and layers, but I love this. I love the size of this die. So it's a 5.5 by 5.5 inches. So it's a beautiful, beautiful size. And literally what it says it is, it's a creator card. So we can mat and layer with this one and pop it onto the front of a card, or we can actually use this one to cut in. Because if you see here, you've got the die, you know, the cutting blade all the way around, but it doesn't finish here. You've got the elements where it's going to stay attached, hence it being obviously, you know, the cut in. So what we're going to do is, it's the same plate combination for our thin metal dies. You're going to be using your outside plate, your two shims, which is your magnetic and your plastic, and then your top plate. So all I'm doing now is I'm just, one, make sure that you've got it the right way up. We don't want to put it upside down. And again, I'm just going to tape that in place because I want it to cut exactly where I'm putting it. I don't want it to move or shift. And then let's pop our plates on and run it through.
Such a versatile size. I know some people have thought 5.5, 5.5. How can you incorporate that in smaller or larger? And it's surprising how well you can incorporate it at different levels.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it fits perfectly, and you're making a perfectly sized 6x6 card with these. So it's nice to have lots of different creator cards in our collection that is going to create all those different card bases. Look at all that for the possibilities of paper piecing right there. So let me just take my tape off, and you can see before I'm even taking the tape off and removing the die, you can see how beautifully and easily everything is just falling out. I need to do nothing else to that except for fold my card base over. I'm going to bring in a piece of black card. We're going to glue that underneath. And there you have got your beautiful Dainty Dahlia Creator Card base card with that gorgeous die.
Taken from what Michelle's just showed you, how about coming along, doing things such as paper piecing? Paper piecing looks exquisite. Simply by going along with a piece of patterned paper. What about a drop shadow at the back there? But then go into your larger cards, your fold back cards, you can absolutely do that. But then thinking about as well your boxes, box lid, that outside die enables you to of course do that. And that one is your Dainty Dahlia Floral Creator Card that you can be creating with. Now, what we can then go and do is talk about the ways in which you can use it. So I've touched upon there, it's of course paper piecing. You can spritz through it, you can ink through it, you can stencil through it. Works lovely on the foil press if you're just using that, get that delicate line as well. It's one of these that it doesn't sit far away from my craft desk, Michelle. I know exactly where, because it is one of a couple in a set.
Yeah, so these others in the set, I just want to quickly show you, if that's all right, Craig,
Please
something
do.
that I love to do with this. So you know straight away, if I just pop this under here, you can see that beautiful image there. For me, you don't need to do much else to this. So what you can do is you can glue it absolutely flat to that if you want. But what I'm going to do is, so this is a 6x6 card.
Okay.
This piece of card is just roughly the same. I just want to trim a little bit off because what I want to do is I want to do this. Bear with me and I'll show you.
That black just makes it go wow.
It really does. Really, really makes it pop. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of tape down this side. Because again, you know, we sort of, it's die cutting starter skills. So I know going into dome front cards and things like that is a little bit more advanced, but I want to show you something that is very much starter, fabulous for if you're advanced, but very easy to do and looks absolutely gorgeous. So I've just got a little bit of tape down each side, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop that on there.
Right.
So it's obviously it's covering my aperture, and then I'm just going to ever so slightly, I tell you what, I need to trim off a little bit more.
Okay. I'm intrigued now as to where you're going with this.
So, again, so you can see, I mean, my line's a little wobbly, but yours won't be. So again, I've just cut that short, as you can see. Pop that piece of tape on again. Just make sure that's nice and firm on there. I'm going to bring in my poker tool, and we're just going to bow this up just a little bit.
Ah, okay.
So I'm not doing any sort of dome front stuff that's a little bit more difficult. Let me just, there we go.
That really is making it an easy way to do it.
So all I've done is my piece of black card is a lot shorter, and you've got that dome effect. But what happens, and you probably can't see it, is this casts a shadow onto your black card behind.
It does.
It, again, so it gives you an element of maybe some inking or some stenciling, but there's nothing there. It's just the shadow that's behind that. And then all you're going to do is you're going to pop just a small, simple, special friend on there, some sentiment. It can actually go inside if you want it to, because you're going to see it.
That's
still.
a nice way of using
but
it too.
Just, if I stand it that way, you've just got that little bit of a dome front without doing the dome front. Maybe it's a dome front cheat, I don't know. But it gives you that shadow. And that's one of the things that I love about these.
Yeah. So by going in, cutting it the way exactly Michelle showed you a minute ago, and then playing with the way that you combine it and you use it and you shape it and you style it and you colour it, which is completely up to you. Right, let's have a look, see what else everyone is saying. Barbara on YouTube is saying, when I would visit my parents, it was an 8-hour drive. Gosh, that is a wee while. That is a wee while to drive. That would be plenty of musics and playlists and singing away till my heart's content when it comes to traffic lights and everything like that. Be quite a few stops as well. Yes. It would have to be. Beth and Lion on Facebook saying good afternoon all. Just putting my Christmas tree up, so time to chill with my coffee and watch CTV. Guess what I'm doing on Monday?
You're going to be putting your tree up by any chance?
I am indeed. I am indeed. Monday is the only day that I don't have shows. Over the next week or so, I've got a lot of shows between here and Hobbymaker. So Monday, I am right. Monday, I'm clearing my diary, and I'm going to, well, pretty much clear my loft of Christmas stuff, and I'm going to put it all up. So that's my plan. So you'll see all that on social media. Not that I want to post on social media a lot, am I?
Me neither.
Mo's saying
I'm
that
not sharing my tree.
No. Yeah, let's not go into that one. Treegate. Treegate. Just as well, you have got a heart of gold, very forgiving, and you're just lovely all round.
Aww,
otherwise, we wouldn't be working together right now because you'd be refusing to work with me. Karen is saying, love the colours together. Jenny C, that card is gorgeous. Love the floral creator card. Oh my gosh, that card is beautiful. If you are new, you can then, of course, go across on our YouTube and watch past shows. You'll maybe see these featured again. Lots of different things that you can be using. Right, let's have a look at our edgeables. This one is our edgeable Rose Garden. This is not just any edgeable. This is a large, grande edgeable. It's got that rose feature to it, but the delicacy from the lines, the detail within the middle, edge of your card, top of the card, centre, it could be strips, it could be wraps. Lots of ways you can use that by featuring that versatility. Edge, one edge cuts, one edge doesn't, but that means that you are in full control of the strips you want to do when it comes to cutting and creating your projects. So Michelle, let's see how these Rose Garden edgeables work.
So the Grande Rose Garden Edgeable, again, a beautiful one from this collection of dies, because there's a few in the collection, but I've picked this one. I love the rose. I love the Rose Garden. I love the just the floral aspect of it. So as with all edgeables, you've got, on this edge, you've got the blade or the, that cuts all the way down. So it's solid on that side, but not on this side. You can see that it cuts in all over, but you don't have a solid cutting edge, which means when I pop it here on the edge of my card, it's going to cut this side out. It's going to leave this side attached. It's still going to cut all that decorative element in there, all that beautiful embellished detail. It's going to stay in my card perfectly. So we're going to pop this through, and again, this will go through your smaller machine depending on the card base that you're making. If you're just cutting it out of a spare piece of card because you're going to add it on later, then it's going to go through even your smaller machine, so it'll go through your mini if you are just cutting that out because it's 2 inches wide. So let's pop that to the side, and again you can see it cuts through beautifully. I don't need to do anything to this to start getting this to fall out of the die beautifully. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a tap, and again you can see I've got all that beautiful decorative area in the middle.
That really is decorative, isn't it?
All pops out beautifully. So what I'm just going to do is going to move that one to the side. I'm going to bring this one in. I'm just going to pop it onto there. So if I cut that piece down and have it behind, you've got that beautiful effect. You can be popping some beautiful pattern paper behind there. But what you can also do is you can just, again, I was saying you can cut that back out in an alternate colour. You're going to pop it on there. And if again, I bring in that beautiful paper behind, and I can use either the black to create a drop shadow with this on the front. I can have it that way, I can bring it that way, and I've got my 10th fold card, or if I really want to, I can pop that underneath and you can have the white drop shadow. So you've got so many options with this. It can be on the sides, it can be on the top and the bottom, and if you remember, I told you that it all can also go on this side to create your card. You're going to have so many choices and options with these Grande Edgeables, and this is the Rose Garden.
So seeing that, bringing them in and doing wraps around the bottom that we can do within this one here, right down at the bottom, but then you can come in with your concepts as well if you want to, if you love your easels, but then do your easels, but then do them with the top and the bottom, and then a really good idea with your pink and the black. And that one is your Edgeable with your Rose Garden. These ones, I find, Michelle, that yes, of course they're edgeable, so they're good at the edge of the card. But what you've got is, because you were showing how one edge cuts, but because the other side and the edges don't, or the top cuts, the bottom doesn't, and the sides don't, it means you can elongate it. So yes. Crackers, I'm thinking, round the Christmas dinner table, because although they're rose, not necessarily Christmas, you could still use them for Christmas coming up.
Oh, you absolutely could. I think, I mean, you know, if your reds and greens, your Christmas reds and greens, are going to work beautifully with these because it is just a rose. But if I bring, so I want to just show you quickly, I'm going to finish this off for you. So what we're going to do is just so you can see it a lot better. I've got some of that beautiful pearlescent card, and we're just going to pop this in the middle of my card here. So again, I'm just going to use my tape pen around there, and you know, even the what I call the B side, as daft as it sounds, it's like a record. You've got your A side and your B side. Even the B sides on these are absolutely stunning.
They are,
so it's so hard to just cover those up. So I just want to pop that in there, and you can see straight away it looks lovely.
It does.
But then what I'm going to do is, so I've die cut it out in the white, and I've cut it down perfectly. So I'm going to dotty tape pen for my decorative bit, and then I'm just going to use my normal on that straight edge there. So always going to be using my dotty on things like this.
It's definitely one of the good adhesives, best adhesives when it comes to anything intricate like these ones.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Not that long back in stock.
Oh, that's, it's good to know. They don't last very long, unfortunately, do they? So there we go. So you can see I can have that on that side and I can have it at the bottom. I mean, obviously I can't have it at this side now, but if I wanted to make my card base, I would just open it up. And what I would do is I would scar down that bit there.
Okay.
So this is going to be the bit that I would glue to the other one. So I would glue it to the other one like that. And you're going to have, you know, your normal side opening card, but with this on that side rather than on the other.
Never would have thought of that.
You don't think to do that,
you
definitely
don't, do
not.
You?
No, so you literally can have it on all four sides of your card if you so wish. So I'm just going to pop that on there, it just ties it in. But what I'm also going to use is, so these dies are beautiful. If friends were flowers, I'd pick you. So I've just die cut it out of the white.
Did you do that because you knew it was me that was on, Michelle?
I did. It's
you
just
did.
for you, Craig.
Just for me.
Always. So again, so I've die cut this out of the pattern paper, you can see, so you don't just have to use your plain papers for this. Definitely go in with your patterns as well.
That's a good shout, really good shout.
I think it's the same with flowers as well. We either use our foam or some plain paper or card. But I think actually, use your pattern paper. You're going to create some stunning sentiments, some stunning flowers, embellishments, everything like that.
Plus, you know, if you've used the pattern on one side and you cut your sentiment in the B side, as you would say, the colour's going to complement.
Yes.
It's going to work.
Exactly.
So you know it's a work and it's a win-win.
That's it. So I'm going to pop that on there, and I'm not bothered that it's covering a little bit of that up because this is beautiful as well. So just showing that bringing so our sentiment dies, and not just a sentiment where it just says, you know, something nice and simple. We've got some beautiful sentiment dies that really complement, you know, our edgeables, our create cards, everything like that. So how quick, easy and simple was that put together? A few gems, a bow, a butterfly, you know, a few embellishments, but that is all you really need to do with these cards.
That's the thing. You don't need to do much at all. And what I loved there at the start is when you showed it with it down the right-hand side and then you simply turned the card along and you had it along the bottom.
How different.
How different does that look? By simply turning your cardstock.
Yeah.
That is absolutely phenomenal that you're able to do that and get that different look with one turn. We've got Linda is saying, she's on Facebook saying, oh my gosh, that card is beautiful. Jenny C is saying, this was going to the Floral Creator card, saying, this is gorgeous, just love the Floral Creator card. Lillian on Facebook is saying, I took a coach from London to Edinburgh once, over 8 hours. It was hellish. I could imagine. At least if you're in your own car, whether yourself or company, you know, you can put your own music on and you can just please yourself, can't you? Mo, number 2 on YouTube is saying, I'm fixing to put up my Christmas tree as soon as possible too, Craig. I think a lot of people are going to be like that. I know some are starting to put them up already. I've noticed a few, you know, when you're driving about and you just notice in the distance in a living room window or that, you just see twinkling Christmas lights. You think, oh, someone's got their tree up in that house. Yes. That'll be me come Monday. Diane on YouTube is saying, hey CTV, I love these shows. I think there's quite a few people that are new at crafting and just don't know some of the nuisances of paper crafting. Really good point, and that's how we've switched it up a little bit on the weekend, so that whether it's starter skills or maybe a first look, or there's something where it's going to enable you as a starter to start off in that education form. But then, as you see, Michelle has showed you straight off the bat how it cuts, done, and then we take that little bit of time to show how quick it was to make that card, but really, really effective. So I'm glad that a lot of you are loving it as well. Mo number 2, and actually Rhonda kind of the same. Mo number 2 is saying, is that Say It With Flowers paper? There's a pear pattern paper out there and I missed it. Where was that pattern paper from?
This is from, so we've got, is it the Spring Sorbet?
Yeah.
And the Winter,
Winter, is it not Winter Solstice, is it?
I think it is. So I've got the... so the plain is the spring sorbet.
Timeless of shades of winter.
Yes, yeah. So it's the spring sorbet is the plains. This was the patterned one that went along with it because it's like pearlescent. As you can see, look, I don't even need to wiggle it.
No, you don't.
Not even just a little bit.
No.
I'm not going to break out into song, I promise, but it is beautiful, isn't it?
Really is gorgeous. Just say as well, in between that, I was double checking across on our website. Everything Michelle is focusing on is on Shop the Day across on our website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.eu. So maybe you've not got any of these elements. Maybe you are starting off and you're going to take tips from Michelle, then you can jump across to our website and they're there if you so wish. We're now going to have a look at some floral frames. These ones here, beautiful butterflies. This has been made and designed with the intention to frame your 4x6 photos. You don't have to use them for photographs. They could be sentiment. They could, of course, be die cuts if you want to. You can still chop out the butterflies. You can layer up the butterflies. These are just nice, beautiful, elegant frames for you to then pop within your photos. You can frame them within photo frames if you want. It's one of those things, it's a fab one to use, and it's a fab one to see from Michelle as to what she's going to do.
Yeah, so beautiful butterflies frames. Who doesn't want beautiful butterflies on a frame in any way, shape or form? But it's a 5x7, so again, it's almost a creator card because you don't need to do much else with this other than pop it on and you're going to frame whatever it is. You've got a beautiful sentiment, a picture of the kids for the grandkids for Christmas, anything like that. But you can see, so it cuts out, you've got that cutting blade all the way around. It cuts out on the outside and on the inside, but then it's going to leave you this beautiful decoration, and it's also going to allow these, the wings on these will come up and the rest will stay in. So you've got, again, a different aspect to this other than just cutting out a beautiful frame. So I'm just going to bring in my plate and we're going to...
Within these ones, you've got that liftability from the butterfly wings as well.
Yes.
It's not just flat on one level, but you've got that scope to... Maybe you are posting it and you can, of course, you know, you have to take into account the postage. With this die, you get that height, but of course it's still going to then go flat as well at the exact same time. Gorgeous die.
And that's it. I mean, you know, you're going to put them wings back down, obviously for posting, but it's very obvious that whoever, you know, you're going to be sending it to are going to be able to see that you can just gently tease those wings back up and it's going to look fabulous. So let's just pop this out. And again, you can see, so it cuts out the whole middle. If I just remove my tape, I'm going to give it a little tap and you can see those bits start coming out straight away. Now with this one, you're going to have to use your poker tool because it's a lot more intricate. So if I just use my poker tool there, it's just going to pop that butterfly up for me. And we're just going to gently, with these, because you can see the intricacy there, we're just going to peel it off very gently. And again,
it's releasing from the die really, although you're being delicate, it still releases easy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Look how easy that it released. I don't have to do anything else to this now. But what you can do is this centerpiece, don't get rid of it, cut it out in a different colour, paper piece it back in. It's going to look absolutely lovely.
It
but
really
that's
would.
not, yes, definitely. But that isn't what we're going to do. You can see that I can lift all my butterfly wings up and they all come up absolutely beautiful. Look at that. So you can see the flat one there. You can see the wings that are protruding up. Almost if it's going to fly off that page and give you butterfly kisses.
Oh.
So I've cut another one out in black and you can see what you're going to do is you're going to, again, you're going to be able to give it that drop shadow if you want to, you know, just by gluing it together. Or you could have the purple one underneath. So if I just layer those back down now, pop that over, you know, you've got that lovely purple behind. And again, if you bring in a different colour, you've got the ability to really matte and layer. So don't feel like your black has got to be your matte layer or your drop shadow. It can be the focal point. And again, you've lifted those wings up, so you've got those beautiful black ones on there.
Really makes it striking by doing it that way with that die set.
Absolutely does, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do is if I bring this one in as well, so you can see I've die cut it out in 3 different colours. So again, you're going to have a bit of a place to see what you want to do with it. But then what I've done with this one is I'm just going to snip away one of these butterflies.
Do you find these quite easy to snip away from this set?
These in this set are so easy. It shows you exactly where you want it to snip just to release that butterfly. Absolutely easy. Really simple. Let me just finish that off. There we go. Just that last one.
And having this set as well, it doesn't mean that you have to have one frame and then buy separate butterflies to embellishment. One, they're there already, and 2, as you've just done, snip them out, and now you've got separate butterflies.
That's it. So if I just put a little bit of tape on there, flatten that back down, and you can either pop this on with the wings absolutely glued down, or what you're going to do is you're going to have 2 wings fluttering up. And again, you could layer these up for a 3rd time with a 3rd colour. So let me just pop that back down again. And if I bring this in so it stands out for you, I have got my lovely lilac wings, I've got my black wings. And again, you know, put 2 or 3 different colours on, you're going to have so much fun. You can do it with just one, you can do it with all of those. Swap and match the colours that you're going to pop on there. You know, if I bring in more and pop this one on here, you're going to have a lot of fun with this. But that is those beautiful butterflies frame dies.
Absolutely elegant. Taking what Michelle's just shown you there. Now at first you could think, of course, that is a normal card, but then turn it going into an easel. Of course you can then do your fold backs if you want to, that you can see here. You can then create your little gift boxes if you want with your pattern paper, or cut into your boxes that you can see here. That one there is all coming from the beautiful butterflies, which is from your fancy frame set. Very versatile collection to use. The thing that I found with this set, Michelle, and just to say, if you are new to this set here, or you're new to anything Michelle's been showing you, go on our YouTube, we'll have past shows, we'll have craft-alongs, which I was actually just a way to say. The butterfly set that you were using as a whole, I've done a craft-along on, so you can then follow along, take what you've learned, if you're a beginner, then go on to a craft-along, follow step by step, and then before you know it, you're going to have other ideas.
I saw that craft along. That was the most beautiful, I mean, they all are, but that was absolutely beautiful. And perfectly used these beautiful butterfly frames. They really did. But if I can quickly finish this off for you.
Do.
Let's just pop those lovely butterflies on. Show you how to cut them out and pop them on. So all I'm going to do is I've just got a black 5x7 card base. I'm just going to put some beautiful pattern paper on there because I really want to frame those gorgeous flowers. So what I did was I cut a piece out that is sort of coming from the corner, if you can see. So I've got that lovely framing of it. So if I just pop that away, and again, you're going to be using your dotty for this, or your tacky glue in your little pin top bottle. And remember, don't tape your butterfly wings down. So let me just get another dotty.
That's definitely the key bit. If you want your wings to pop up,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you'll probably do it where you stick the wings down. I've done it. I still do it occasionally when I use it, because maybe you're listening to the music or you're thinking what you're doing next, you stick them down.
You do, you just sort of go over the whole thing and sort of, you then like, oh, shucks, I didn't mean to do that. But shucks was the very, very polite way of I didn't mean to do that.
Do you know what? Worst case scenario, you stick the wings down, do what Michelle showed you a moment ago, cut it again, fussy cut the butterflies out, and then stick them on that way.
Absolutely. So look how gorgeous that absolutely looks. It really does. So if I'm just going to quickly bring these in, we're just going to put a bit of dotty on that middle bit because I want all my wings up. And we're just going to glue that middle bit down, and then you're just going to adjust all of your little wings. And again, if I bring a third colour in, that's going to look, again, so full and luscious.
Oh, luscious for the card, yeah.
But this is what I was saying. So this is in an absolutely alternate colour to the black. If you just layer that back in, it looks lovely again, but again,
really
you've got a different effect if you wanted to. Or what you could do is you could bring in one of our beautiful little sentiments. So again, bringing in our dies, our other dies, our sentiment dies, our floral dies. There are friends, there is family, then there are friends that become family.
That works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, because, you know, I'm using the papers from the same collection, so I know that they're going to look beautiful, but just doubling up your beautiful, your wings.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. To reiterate as well what I said just previous as well, the cardstock that Michelle is using, that's also on our website as well. There is a little bundle of that, so Michelle's made it so that you are very accessible for you to then purchase what she is then using throughout the show. But we've also got, so Melanie, now this is actually going back to the card that Michelle done previously, saying, Melanie, that she's saying, beautiful card, Michelle. Rhonda, we went over the card stock that moment or two ago about the card Michelle was using that was also asked by Mo. Sandra on Facebook is saying, hello from a very snowy Buffalo, New York. Been shoveling for the past hour, now warming up while watching you guys. Oh, see, for me, I like the snow to start with, and then of course it gets annoying. And I know this has obviously just been not the other side of the world, but across the Atlantic kind of say. Whereas you guys stateside will be like, no, Craig, it's not like that. But for me, and many of us, we love that idea, living in America, the snow's falling, go out, just shovel it out there, get the hot cocoa and that. That's the impression you get.
It is.
I know for many of you, and I know many have it bad, that ain't the case. But, you know, a guy can dream.
Well, that's it. For us over here, we see all the movies, the Christmas movies, of how romanticised everything is. And the reality is always, isn't it, far, far from it. But I'm sticking to my romanticised movie version of The Snow in America.
So am I.
I like that.
I re-watched last night Christmas with the Coopers.
Ah.
Such a good film. And there's a scene in that when the man is in the little typical American cafe, the snow's falling in the background, the street. That's, to me, is Christmas in America, which I know, of course, probably isn't necessarily the case, but it's a good film. Diane Keaton, and he was in Roseanne. He was the husband in Roseanne.
Yes. I don't know his name, but I know who you mean.
There's lots of other cast stars in it as well. Good film. Karen Wells on Facebook saying, I got those dies after watching your demo, Craig. Thank you, Karen. As we said beforehand as well, Michelle focused on the butterfly. Have a look on the website. You might still find some of the other ones from the original collection there as well. Alison is saying, Michelle, I broke out into song that came into my head. Ha, 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 ha. They were in the gallery as well. Tess on YouTube, that is such a sweet card cut out. And Jen on YouTube saying, gorgeous die. I can never get tired of butterflies. Love the wings. This is perfect for scrapbooking and shadow boxes. We're now going to have a look in at our cut in word dies. This one here is the just to say, that is the die. Then you've got some sentiment stamps that says, you are amazing, you in my thoughts, thanks and hello. So you can have a play and cut into your card that we can see just into here, cuts in just to say, and you can, of course, go in and stamp wherever you want to create that lovely sentiment. It is another versatile collection, so versatile that Michelle's away to show us how simply they are to use.
I absolutely am. So I'm going to use the just to say you are amazing. So it's a cut-in word die, which, again, it's a totally different one to what I've already been showing you. So we're going to pop that off. Let me just move that little bit of tape. And you can see it's just to say you've got that cutting ability. So what you're going to do is you're going to see that you don't have a solid cutting blade all the way round, hence it's staying in and cutting in. So depending on how wide you're cutting or you're creating your card base, you know, you're going to get totally different effects. So this is just my card blank. We're going to cut straight into it. And so you do have the options here. You can have this right at the top if you want. You know, you can pop it in the middle. You can bring it down to the bottom. If you want a card that's going that way, you're just going to cut it a bit longer that way and it's going to cut in. And again, if you really want to, it doesn't have to be straight. You can have it on a lovely jaunty angle. You know, you've got so many choices with this. But I'm going to put it straight across the front.
This is one of those dies, Michelle, that you can see how you're using it on your card, on your large die cutting machine and your plate. But then if you do have, if you're an experienced crafter, you have a smaller machine, or maybe you can only invest in a smaller machine, you can still cut this in little strips.
You absolutely can cut it in little strips, but what I want to show you is, so if I bring in my junior plates,
okay.
I'm going to pop it on and it's going to hang over the edge and I can still put it through my bigger machine. But again, that way, it's still going to fit on my junior plates to go through my junior machine. It's just going to not go that way. But absolutely that way, it is going to fit perfectly. So, you know, you've still got the options to use your smaller plates if that's the machine that you've got. And as a crafter, we always find a way to get something to work how we want it to work for us by nature of who we are and what we do.
That's the thing, you know, that's the thing, and it's good that you've shown that with that die set. You know, you could continue that with something else that you might have, but by focusing on that one, it's a nice way to see plate configuration, sideways, lengthways, smaller, larger. It may look like a lovely small die, but boy, it's a versatile one at that.
It absolutely is. So let me just remove my tape. And then you can see, again, straight away, let me bring in a piece of card for you to see, that all those bits have just fallen straight out. I don't need to do anything else to it. That looks fabulous. But what we're going to do is, so let me just move that to the side. So again, I'm going to bring in my smaller plates, because what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring in a smaller piece of card. So what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that we've cleaned our die of the cardstock that's still in there, because then it's going to cut perfectly. And what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this out. So I'm going to pop that on my piece of card, and I roughly want that 2 3/8 of an inch at the bottom. And I'm going to tape this still, I'm going to tape it in place so it doesn't move. And as you can see, it's going through with my junior plates beautifully. So if you do have the junior machine, it's going to run through that just as easily. And the bonus is it doesn't take as long either. Not that it takes long anyway. So if I take that off, just move my plates to the side. And again, we're just going to carefully pull that tape up.
So cardstock, papers, that's just two of many mediums that you're using to cut with.
There really is. So what we're going to do is I'm going to trim that down. I'm going to put a border at the top, the same depth as that border that I've got at the bottom. And I'm going to bring in my card. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop that over there, and I'm going to give it just a little bit of a drop shadow. So again, I'm going to use my dotted tape pen for the words. Now you could fussy cut these out because it's very, very simple on here, and just have a different colour on your letters. And I also, if I just pop that underneath there, you can see that I could have it behind there, again, as a lovely drop shadow.
Very striking.
I love creating this sort of box effect on the front. So we're just going to give it a lovely drop shadow. We're going to trim off those edges. I always trim those edges afterwards, because you're going to make this go to one side or the other. If you cut it exactly, you don't have that little bit of room to play, whereas because I've left my sides, I've had that room to play and adjust it, and it sits on there beautifully. And then all I'm going to do is if I bring this in, so let's fold that and give it a little bit of a burnish. I pop that under there now. You've got that, just to say, die cut straight into the card. You've got the beautiful box over the front, and then you've got, again, so whatever colour cardstock you want on the inside was just going to make it pop out even more. So yeah, just to say you're amazing die set.
So taken from what Michelle's just shown you and how simple they are to use, but then maybe popping them down the side of your card. But then if you want to go a little bit more fancy, you can do your Z fold cards, but then you can do the bottoms of your stepper cards that we can see here, or even your side steppers that you can see here. Top, bottom, left, right, have them individually if you want to, even at an angle, you can absolutely do that. That has come from the cut in words, just to say die and stamp set, where you can use the die and the stamps, use them separate. That's entirely up to yourself. The thing that I find with these ones that I tend to use myself, Michelle, is I'll use them. And yes, I use them in that cut-in way of my cards, but a lot of the time I will cut a rectangle piece of cardstock just a little bit bigger than the size of the card and then use it that way, cut it into the strip, and it's like a separate sentiment topper that I'll tend to use it.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many different ways to use these. These are, you know, I always talk about, I have like a box of dies that I have on my desk that I definitely want to use all the time. So I've got flowers on there. I've got all of my nesting dies. These are there along with those. So if I just show you quickly.
Please do.
That is the one that I have just made. You're going to put some lovely papers on the front, entirely up to you. But again, so if I just bring this in, and I know I'm going to do it very quickly for you guys. I'm just going to dotty tape this at the back. Just a different way, so you don't have to. And again, shall I tell you what? Shaker element.
Oh, wow, yes.
Just again, something a little bit different. So let me just layer that over. Trim that edge down. And you've got it there, right there, rather than a little bit further back. You can sort of see straight away how different it looks.
The difference in that.
Yeah, but then you've got this. Have this down here and have a third one. So you'd obviously make your card a little bit deeper. Have a third one. You've got that just to say, but then don't forget, I didn't show you the stamps. So you've got just to say you are amazing, just to say you're in my thoughts, thanks and hello. But then what you're also going to do is you're going to bring in a lovely, if you've got this multiple times on there, a lovely flower. So don't forget, again, our flower dies, perfect to bring into any die cutting card or projects that you're using. And again, I've used the paper. I've used the paper, pattern paper, not a plain paper. And again, it just looks, I think on either of these, if you pop it on, looks lovely.
Doesn't it just? Doesn't it just? And then as I always say as well, by changing the colours, simply do exactly what Michelle's done. Go green or go pink, go lilac, it's going to look completely different. Thank you so much, Susie, for helping out on the socials, feeding them through. We've got Christina saying you could always cut off the butterfly. So this is going back to the floral frames beforehand. Use them as separate corners. Another nice way in which you can use them that I sometimes do that as well. And Stephanie on Facebook is saying that extra colour really makes it pop as to what Michelle was just showing you there. It does. It really, really does. Take advantage of these starter skills shows. Whether you are a beginner, even if you feel you're experienced, but maybe like me, you jump too far to the experience side in the cards and your projects. You want to rein it in a little bit and just go back to the beginning again. Really good way to start off as you're crafting, or to rein yourself back in, then progress by bringing in other cards, other mediums. On our website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.au, the dies and stamps Michelle has been using, they're there on Shop the Day. The cardstock bundles that Michelle's been using, they're there as well on the website. And also, just back in stock, I don't know, maybe a week or so, is our Dotty tape pens. However, you know, they're not going to last long, certainly by seeing the way Michelle's been using them within the starter skills. Really, really handy. Really good show. Thank you so much, Michelle. I know a lot of people love seeing that starter element, how to be using additional elements. Nice way to see, wasn't it?
And I think we forget. I think we want to show you really intricate, elaborate things that you can do with these things. And actually, sometimes the simplest way to use something is often the nicest way. So, and I think we forget that.
Absolutely, 100%.